Order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City of Romulus City Council regular meeting for Monday, April 27th, 2015, and the roll will show that all council members are present. Tonight's council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda. 2, minutes. 3, petitioner. 4, chairperson's report. 5, mayor's report. 6A, clerk's report. 6B, treasurer's report. 7, public comment. 8, unfinished business. 9, new business. 10, communication. 11, warrant 15-08, and number 12, adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Mr. Mikowski, for approval of the agenda as presented. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
2A for approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held April 13th, 2015.
So moved. Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Mikowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held April 13th, 2015. Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms.
I have a question on Resolution 15-113, that we remove the word table and add the correction to postpone action on 35606 Bibbins. It's just a change in the wording. It's just a correction of the resolution. It's not an amendment to the resolution or anything. Yes,
Okay,
That's
so
noted.
noted.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Choate. It's been motioned by Ms. Mikowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting held April 13th, 2015. Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Abstain.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes,
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
2B for approval are the minutes from the special meetings held on April 13th, 2015 at 5:30 p.m. was a public hearing regarding demolition list 14-01, and special meeting for 6 o'clock p.m. This was a study session regarding the 2015-2016 budget.
So moved. Support.
A motion by Ms. Mikowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for the approval of the minutes from the special meeting held April 13, 2015 at 5:30, public hearing, demolition list 14-01, and 6 p.m. study session 2015-16 budget. Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
yes,
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
There are no petitioners on the agenda. Number 4 is the chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At 5:30 tonight, we had a study session with our city quarterly investment report from our treasurer. And at 6 p.m., we had a study session, continuing with the city budget from 2015 to 2016. At this time, I would like to bring up Mrs. Talley for the Citizens Academy. If she may step up, Ms. Talley.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Hall with the Police Department. For those that don't know me, I think I know everybody here. We just wanted the Academy graduates. We just completed our first successful Citizens Academy here in the city of Romulus. The Academy was set up for local residents to get a firsthand, behind-the-scenes knowledge of what goes on with the police department and the fire department, part of the mayor's initiative of being transparent. So I'm not going to take up a whole lot of your time. I'm going to turn it over to the people that actually experienced it and give them a little opportunity to tell you about the program.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Savannah Leininger, and I am here to tell you about my experience in the Romulus Citizens Academy. First of all, I wanted to join the first Citizens Academy to better understand the roles of the police and fire departments in Romulus. This class expanded my knowledge about those departments and helped me gain a different perspective on what the police and fire departments do in Romulus. Every week, the class was taught about a different topic of the police and/or the fire department and what they do. Throughout the 14 weeks of this class, I've learned many different aspects of the public safety departments. My favorite classes were touring the Wayne County Jail and learning about the SWAT team. Overall, I think I speak for the rest of my class when I say that the Romulus Citizens Academy was an amazing experience and I would recommend it to anyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're going to have a short presentation.
Okay.
Council, Mayor, my name is Jim Kolchik. I am a 18-year resident of the city of Romulus now. Excuse me one second. And this is our class. The 2015 City of Romulus Citizens Public Safety Academy, the winter 2015 class. Wonderful group of people. Met a lot of new faces, new friends, did a lot of networking. So it was really a wonderful experience. One of the classes that we have here that they were set up until like 15 weeks, but I won't go through all 15 weeks for you. I broke them down into the most important ones. The police department gave us a tour of their station, and they gave us information and showed us all how all the operations run within the police department, the demonstration and use of force, laws of arrest, law enforcement tools and equipment and vehicles. Fire department also put on a hands-on training for us. They gave us a tour of their headquarters on Eureka Road and showed us all about the fire suppression, the prevention, arson investigation, EMS operations, and all the hazardous materials teams within our area here. That includes Western Wayne Airport, Downriver, and Western Wayne Airport and Downriver Hazardous Materials and Urban Search and Rescue Team Operations. Next one. Lieutenant Hull gave us a really, really good class on crime scene techniques that they use within the city. We were given the opportunity to recover fingerprints from various surfaces and gave us the fine points about how many points it takes to get a good fingerprint ID for a person. And on the snowiest night of our operation, that was a long night. Lieutenant Hull and Reserve Officer Ross transported us in the city vehicles down to the Wayne County Jail for a tour of a 100-plus-year-old jail facility. That old. And then again, we have the police department gave us a good prevention, ID theft awareness prevention and detection on different ways that people scam, fraud, and manipulate credit cards. Here's a question. Maybe somebody from our class wants to answer this one. How many reports of ID theft did the FBI take just at Metro Airport alone last year? Class? Over 300, according to records. And here we have the 34th District Court Honorable Judge Brian Oakley. He hosted a tour at his state-of-the-art judicial facility right next door. And we were given the view of judicial technology such as remote video arraignment and legal operations such as traffic laws and fines, and what happens if you don't pay those fines. This was my favorite one, the bomb squad. Here we go. We had they gave us a tour and a live demonstration of firearms training, and it is just, you have to experience it. When it comes down to your, when to shoot, not to shoot, is this guy a threat? Is this guy going to kill you? And to make those split decisions, you got to have a sound mind. And I give the credit to the Romulus Police Department and all other law enforcement agencies out there these days and age. It is just remarkable what they have to go through. We also had the bomb squad, Dearborn Police Department bomb squad, come out with the robot. They suited up myself and another class member over here, Kaz. That's 100 pounds right there. That's 100 pounds of equipment that's on you. And just imagine the person that's got to do this every day. And luckily for it, it's air conditioned too, so you do have a small air conditioner on the back. This is at the Taylor Police Department. We have a SWAT vehicle. We have a crisis negotiations team vehicle, command post. A good friend of mine, Lieutenant Chris Egan from the Allen Park Police Department, is a member of this. And I also work with him at the Melvindale Allen Park CERT. Anyways, here's another one. I would have to say was a favorite of everybody. Where we were able to, with the Romulus Fire Department, we were able to actually put on turnout gear, put out a small fire, and we were actually, some of the members were actually able to tear a car apart using the jaws of life. So that was a pretty interesting operation altogether. Then we had survival flight. Everybody loves that. Everybody loves seeing the survival flight coming out, but I wouldn't want to be the person that has to go to the hospital in that one. And here we go. We got the Romulus Police Department back again with the traffic enforcement, accident investigation, reconstruction, along with the hands-on demonstration where we use the lasers that are used around the cities by the Traffic Enforcement Division. And we also have had a demonstration done by the Romulus Police Department Canine Division, offering with their dogs Aries and Caesar. And they are also police officers, and they are protected as well as all other officers are too. Last but not least, I'd like to thank everybody. You'll see this up on the thing. Is too many to acknowledge there, but we do have a lot of people that were involved. Several public safety agencies that offered their techniques and their training and stuff for our class. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody, including the Honorable Mayor Leroy Burcroft, Public Safety Director J.D. Settles, Romulus Fire Chief David Allison, Lieutenant Hull. Lieutenant Hull was there for us every step of the way. And we also had Romulus Fire Department Deputy Chief Kevin Kraus. He was another one that was there with us all the step of the way. And that's my final report. Any questions from the board?
Good job.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I just want to add one comment to the mayor, to the chief, to the Lieutenant Hall, and Lieutenant Kraus, and Chief Allison. Because you guys have invested so much in us, we want to say to you guys, we want to invest back too. If there's anything we can do to support the police and fire, as you see fit. We want to know about it. We want you invested in us. We want to invest back in how we can support our city, our police department, our fire department. We want to help. Just let us know.
Thank
We'll be following up with Lieutenant Hall.
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
I just want to make a couple quick comments and to council, the elected treasurer clerk, and the public. They petitioned to come here tonight. I didn't ask them to come here tonight. We had a fantastic first class. They had a graduation. I know we had a lot of electeds that were there. Not everybody could attend. But what I wanted to just say is that, when I popped in, the enthusiasm that was in that class, the whole purpose of this is to raise awareness of the first responders and police and fire. And I want to thank the other communities that helped support it, but particularly we had two people that were really big drivers in making a success. And what I'd like to ask council to do, I think it's very appropriate. I would have had them done ahead of time if we'd have known, but I would like to have a resolution for both Lieutenant Hull and our Deputy Fire Chief Kraus, who put a lot into this program. Not only was he out there, but Lieutenant Hull particularly, he had his family there. I mean, his kids were helping. So this wasn't something, this was after hours that he was doing. Often there was so much information, they ran late once in a while is what told me, but that's a good thing. But, I wanted to thank our first graduating class who went through it. What we talked about when we first started this program, when Lieutenant Hall talked about kind of reinvigorating this and brought it to Director Settles, was we really want to do this on a regular basis. So the two things we asked students to do would be to give us honest feedback on how we can make it better, and secondly, help spread the word. So, because we'd like to run some more classes on this in the future, because I think the more our residents know about what the frontline responders are faced with, the better understanding they're going to have, and also just to be better residents to help spread that word. So that's really I ask of the students, is to help us with that. But if council would be willing to make those two appropriate resolutions, I would really appreciate it, because then we'll get them signed and be able to present them. There were letters sent out to the other communities, correct, Lieutenant Hall, thanking them for their participation, because they sent people here for several hours outside their community, the bomb squad that I was at and some others, and Taylor and surrounding communities. So I think, we want to make sure we show our appreciation to them as well, but those two really led the way, and I think it would be appropriate to draft those.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for the appropriate resolutions.
Support.
For Lieutenant Hall and Deputy Chief Kraus.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Roscoe, for a resolution for Lieutenant Hall and Deputy Fire Chief Kraus. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. And I guess, Lieutenant Hall, anything else you wanted to add? We'll turn it over to you. Thanks, sir.
Just one comment. Again, thank you for your support. Without that support from all our elected officials, this program would have never got off the ground. Also, we're planning on the next class this fall. So with your assistance, we'd like to have some elected officials partake this time. And also, if you can't, maybe one of your family members. So again, spread the word. We want this to get bigger and better every year. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
I'll-
Kraut.
I'd like to make a memorial resolution for my cousin Dean Gilbert, who passed away Monday.
Support.
He leaves behind his wife, Jill. He had two children, Stacy and DJ. And one thing about Dean, he loved to hunt. He was a hunter. He liked to fish. And if you need any help, Dean was there for you. And Dean will be at the Crane's Funeral Home Tuesday, tomorrow, from 1 to 8, and the service will be at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Kraut.
Barton, if I could.
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
If I could comment on my friend and Mr. Kraus' friend, Dean. I knew Dean for probably the last 20, 25 years. I bowled with him. He was born in Romulus. He had Romulus in his bloods. He cared about his family, cared about his community. He was certainly taken too soon at the age of only 54, and it's very sad that he's gone, but he was a good person. And Mayor, I'm wondering if we can get the resolution over to the funeral home before 1 o'clock tomorrow.
If we can, at the clerk's office, can we accommodate that possibly? I'm also going to be taking him a proclamation sometime tomorrow, once we got the arrangements, but if I could just add, Dean was a great guy, keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. We'll get something to him.
Right. We could get a resolution drafted up. It's just collecting all the signatures. That will be the challenge. We can call you all and see what we can do.
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll work on it.
great. Okay. It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for a memorial resolution for Mr. Dean Gilbert. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth? Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
I'll be there.
Now, it's up to the academy. You don't have to stay for the meeting, but we really appreciate that you came. And I think I'm gonna try to participate next year. Okay, thank you. With that, concludes the chairman's report.
So move, Mr. Chairman, to adopt the chairperson's report.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved. Thank you.
And number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening tonight, council, treasurer, clerk, deputy clerk, and audience. Usually bring a quote. This one struck me, so I brought it. It's from Psalms 145, verse 9. The Lord is good to all. He has compassion on all he has made. I thought that was fitting, so I wanted to pass it on. We have a lot of people that need that compassion right now. A couple quick thank yous I want to give out before I get into my regular report. I want to thank our chairman, John Barden, for attending the Little League opening day and filling in for I could not be there, and all those who were there. I could not attend, but congratulations, Little League. Have a good season this year. Also, congratulations to the person of the year, and thank you to Dennis Davidson and all the electeds that went to that. I'm sorry I could not attend the chamber event. I wanted to give a quick shout out and happy birthday to Bill Wadsworth. Yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday, Bill.
Happy birthday, Bill.
48.
Always good to have another one.
Be here, but it's not good to have birthday.
Couple things I wanted to report on if we could, and it came up in our earlier study session. Roberto Scapitici, if you could come up and give a quick report. There's a lot of things going on roads, Goddard Road, some road projects, and just to, again, keep the public informed and all of us informed. A lot of work started this week. So Roberto, could you give just an overview, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Absolutely. Council, good evening. Just to give a quick update with the Goddard Road project, obviously, you know, there's orange barrels out there and construction has started actually today. The contractor is focused on the south side of the road. He's actually working between Romaine Street and the railroad tracks, and he's focused in the downtown core portion of the project. He's going to finish this core project between the south half and the north half of the road by August 31st, 2015. Then he's going to move back to the Wayne Road intersection where we have to reconstruct and finish the reconstruct of the northeast quadrant of the intersection. So that's kind of the game plan for Goddard Road. We also have our Wayne Road sidewalk project in motion. Barrels went up on that project about a week ago. The contractor has started as well on that, and he's making some good progress. He's starting at the Goddard Road interchange, and he's working his way north towards Herman Street. So with that, I'll leave it open to any questions that there might be about those projects.
Any questions?
Just to add to that, we did personally, and myself, Maria, Tim, all of us tried to tag team talking to the businesses downtown. If I could put in one plug is to please support the businesses still downtown.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though there's construction, I know it's an inconvenience, those businesses are counting on our help and support, so they are open for business. Part of our challenge with attracting more development downtown is people are waiting to see the road get complete. So with that, you know, we're going to continue to update you. We have an email list that we got from the businesses so we could give them weekly email blasts on what's going on when we made the round. So we want to communicate better. We're very sensitive that this is phase 3 of 3 phases, and we're also going to have to redo part of the other phase because of some quality issues. But we want to be sensitive, but please support the businesses.
Right, and I'd just like to add one other component to this project. Westbound only traffic will be allowed through the downtown portion. People coming eastbound can take Grant Road, but also Bibbins, and filter back into the commercial district.
John?
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth.
Just a quick question. Without any difficulties, a projected completion date?
We're hoping that the entire project will be buttoned up late fall.
Okay, fine, thank you.
And also, by the way, with that, the street lights are down. They had to be taken down to allow for the construction. So I've gotten a couple calls saying no street lights. We had to have Edison take them down so they can actually do the construction in that area. Once the street's done, those will go back up.
Ms. McCoskey?
Yeah, just one clarification. Mr. Mayor, maybe you could just tell everybody that, about the quality issues, that we are not going to pay for that. right?
Sure.
Yeah, so,
You know, the whole Goddard Road, if you remember, this road was done in mid-90s, something like that, concrete. We had issues with that concrete at the time. That's why we're redoing it. We had failures with the concrete. Pavement that they put down just last year, you know, basically we've noticed, and Roberto and our staff, and we've had some real tough meetings this last week with MDOT, with the contractors, with OHM, and they did agree and acknowledge that there are some quality issues that were on it. So my commitment is that we're going to make sure the residents get a good road. What was done from east of the tracks to Wayne Road, there are some issues that honestly will have to be redone. The good thing is we're on them. We're making sure that they're going to get a quality road, but unfortunately it's more disruption. So I'm glad that we stayed on them. We're holding them to the fire to get those fixed, but we were not happy with that. Also, they're going to be finishing the intersection here at Wayne and Goddard that they ran into weather-related issues and could not finish. So we have a lot going on, especially in this corridor. But the good thing is when it's all done, you know, I think our residents will be very pleased. But we do have to hold them to the fire and make sure we get that road fixed correctly.
thanks.
Anything else, Roberto?
No, I mean, we can add some technical information regarding what happened with the failure of the pavement, if council would like to hear. I'll leave it up to you.
Thank you, Roberto. Couple other things, just one item of information more, and just because it's coming up, we have a very busy day. I know that weekend of the 8th and 9th, and I know Mr. Wadsworth will talk about the event that evening, but May 9th, we are getting people, volunteers signed up for the clean sweep. We have 9:30 kickoff at the senior center. So people that want to come, show up there at Bibbins, and we'll have supplies. We've already had a lot of interest from schools and other groups, so you know we just want to make it a good time. The following week is when the planning will happen downtown in some select areas, and also the planter boxes at the senior center that following week. But if you're interested, you contact our office at 955-4502, and we'll try to get you on the list and keep you informed with that. The other thing that I would like to do is if we could, under my report in this portion, 5G, you have an issue that refers to TIFA bonds and rebonding. What I'd ask to come out is Pat McGow to come out and just answer any questions here on that part of that agenda item, if that's okay with council, so that I can excuse him and we don't have to have him stay the whole meeting. But if that would be appropriate, I'd like to have him come up now just to address any questions, if you have any, under the bond issues under 5G for my action report. Is that okay, Mr. Chairman and
Yes,
council?
that's fine. That's fine, Mayor.
Pat, can you come on up, please, and just give an overview of that, and then be available if there's any questions on that particular item?
Great, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, members of council. I'm Pat McGow. I'm an attorney who works for the city on your various bond and finance projects, for those that don't know me. What you have before you tonight is an action item, is a resolution pledging the city's limited tax full faith and credit in support of some TIFA bonds. For those that have been on council for a while, you've seen these types of resolutions from time to time. The TIFA is able to issue bonds for various city infrastructure projects, and those bonds are paid from tax increment revenues, and very often they're also supported by the city's full faith and credit pledge as backup security. This particular issue actually has a pretty long history. This actually is a refinancing of a bond issue that started in 1994. And those of you that may remember that, in 1994 was when the city was working on the Vining Road Highway Interchange project, and there was a development project that was going to do a lot of redevelopment there north of I-94 at Vining Road. In 1994, the city issued a bond through the TIFA issued a bond, in the amount of $20 million, which was to pay for those improvements. Because the development didn't occur, a couple years later, in 1996, there was a reissuance, and only about $5 million of that original bond issue was actually issued, which paid for the city's share of that highway interchange. Then a couple years later, in 1998, there was some legislation that was adopted specifically for the city of Romulus, which would allow the remaining bonds that weren't originally used to be used to pay for those projects. And the reason that's important is because the source of money to repay those bonds was tax increment revenues, which were levied from various taxing jurisdictions, the schools, the state, the ISD, that typically the TIFA cannot capture from. So bonds issued after 1994 generally could not have the TIFA capture those dollars. However, this legislation, which was done specifically for this project for the city of Romulus, allowed remaining bonds to be issued in order to pay for those projects. So that's the second part of what this bond issue is. This bond issue that's being proposed by the TIFA would refinance what's left of those original 1994 bonds, which were refinanced in 2004, and then authorize the issuance of additional bonds to pay for the road improvement projects that were originally contemplated in that area north of I-94. So the bond issue before you authorizes a bond issue in a total amount of not to exceed $5,750,000. Of that, roughly $1.7 million is a refinancing, and roughly $3,750,000 would raise money for those new road projects. It's intended to be a very short bond issue because it has to fit within the original time frame of that original 1994 bond. So that was originally a 25-year bond issue that went out until 2019. So the bond issue we're talking about is really only going to be for 5 years, and it's going to use the money from those tax increment revenues to pay for the refinancing to save money, as well as new road projects. So it's a combination bond issue. The original bond issue did not have the city's full faith and credit behind it. That was very commonly done back in the 90s and even in the early part of the 2000s. This bond issue is being proposed to have the city's full faith and credit because it allows the bonds to be sold based on the city's credit rating, which will give a lower interest rate. It also allows a reserve fund that was there for the original bonds to be applied towards this to generate additional savings as well. And as you may recall, other TIFA bond issues that the city has done, for example, the RAC facility, were issued by the TIFA and backed by the city's full faith and credit. So I wanted to give you that background on this particular bond issue because it does have a long history. And again, the TIFA board itself approved the bond authorizing resolution at its meeting a couple weeks ago, which would authorize the bonds. The action item for the city is again to pledge your full faith and credit as backup security so that if the tax increment revenues came up short, the city would be asked to make that up and then get repaid from tax increment revenues. If approved, because it's such a short bond issue, this bond is expected to be sold through a private placement, and that would take place sometime over the next month, and the transaction could be completed within about 6 weeks. So with that, I'll stop talking and answer any specific questions you have about this bond issue or the resolution before you.
Yes, Mr. Wadsworth?
Is this being done, and I don't know if I should go to Tim or the mayor, because of development that is coming or has been started with the outlet mall? And
Tim, you want to go ahead and address that?
The answer is yes. We've been looking at trying to refi these bonds for a number of years and actually use the increments that were available under the law that was changed, as Pat had said, 98, for a number of years. This project, the mall, has actually given us impetus to really move this forward and push it. So the two projects we're intending on doing are to reconstruct Vining Road. And when I say reconstruct, it's really grind down the asphalt and put new asphalt on Vining from Wick Road to the bridge decking to the south. And then it'd be reconstruct Wick Road from the west side of the Vining intersection, moving to the east, almost towards the pump station. It's roughly an 1,800-foot project that will include the development of a boulevarded area and new light traffic signals at the intersections.
Fine, thank you.
Yes, Ms. Makowski?
Two questions. One is about the debt service savings. So what would that be? And then Tim, I've got you too. Question for you, but first, Mr. McGow.
Thank you. I'm working off of the numbers. Mike Gormley from Hutchinson Shockey is working with the city on this, and I'll just jump to his numbers. The savings on the refunding for the remaining 5 years was based on rates back then was approximately $600,000, which was about a 6% savings compared to the current debt service.
Thank you. And you mentioned these projects. What would the timing be for these projects, Mr. Keys?
Orchard Hills has been authorized under resolution from Tifa to start the design of these projects. We believe the projects will start sometime in the fall, winter time of this year and be complete by, again, before the mall open.
So actually, I have another question. So so this is really to support that new development in the area.
It's intended for two purposes. One is the fact that Wick Road is in terrible shape and needs to be upgraded. The intersection and signalization there has never been quite right and needs to be upgraded as well. Vining Road is not much better than Wick Road. So we would do this project, although maybe not as significant in terms of the development of the boulevard along Wick Road, but we would be moving forward with projects it had not been for the mall. The mall just gives us a good driver to move it forward and actually develop it per the traffic loading that comes not only from the mall, but when we did traffic analysis, we looked at the build out of the entire area. And so this project is sized for that full build out.
Yes.
Two more questions. Okay, so when do we think that we'll have that design ready for review of the project?
Project design will be completed tentatively right now sometime in the end of the summer.
So, God forbid, we don't get the mall. I mean, would this still go on if we don't get the mall?
Well, the timing of this actually works out to our advantage because the mall is intended to break ground in mid-July. And so our projects are not going to start until well after the construction of the mall is. So if in fact the mall doesn't start, these project scopes will be changed accordingly.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, thank you, Council, for letting us cover it up front. Thank you, Pat and Tim, for covering us now, and that we will allow them to move on with their day and not have to have them here the whole meeting. Thank you. One last request before I get into my action item report is I would like to also ask for a memorial resolution for council for the family of Tamarica Williams, or Tam, as she was called, passed away on April 17th of 2015, and we'd like to be able to provide a memorial resolution from all the electeds, and please keep their family in your prayers.
So moved.
Support.
A motion by Mr. Kraut, supported by Mr. Makowski for a memorial resolution for Tam Williams. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Council. My first other item for official action is 5A. What you have is a request to concur with the administration, adopt a resolution to grant authorization of the mayor and the clerk to enter into the City of Wayne firing range agreement as presented.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'll make
Roscoe.
that motion to concur with administration and adopt a resolution to grant authorization for the mayor and clerk to enter into City of Wayne firing range agreement as presented.
Support.
A motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Choate, to concur with the administration and adopt a resolution to grant authorization for the mayor and clerk to enter into City of Wayne firing range agreement as presented. Discussion.
Yeah, just
Yes,
one question,
Kowski.
Mr. Chair, thank you. How much, I didn't see a dollar amount for what we're signing up to. So it's their use, but what's the charge?
Yeah, it's an agreement, and it's based on our demand. JD, do you know approximately how many times or a guesstimated usage? You can answer a question on that one, please.
Good afternoon, Council.
Good afternoon.
The officers are required to qualify one time a year, but in order for them to stay proficient, they have to use it on a much regular basis. We provide the ammo for the officers. If they wanted to go twice a month, they could. I don't have the dollar figure either, but I could get it and get it to you. It's not a significant figure.
Well, just a
Same
question, then a
amount, but-
follow-up. Really, it's budgeted already?
Correct.
The money's
It's budgeted,
budgeted
that's-
to maintain
Yeah.
their certification?
We're not
so
increasing the
that's good.
approved budget amount.
Okay,
Correct.
thank you. I'm good.
Thank you, Mr. Kowski. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next item is a request to authorize purchase of a 2004 F-250 Super Cab from Huron Township for use of an animal control vehicle. The amount's $5,000, and the funding is through the animal shelter donation escrow that you've heard a lot about, that have saved and raised monies for the animal, not just animal control, but the facility there, supplies and so forth. So this was a piece of equipment that Huron Township, they have another community doing their animal control that they did not use, so we negotiated a purchase price. We have two current trucks that have a lot of miles and a lot of repair that are kind of limping along, but we need to kind of reload, and this was a good opportunity to pick up a surrounding community's used vehicle at a very good price. So that's what you have before you on 5B.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Support.
A motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski, to authorize the purchase of a 2004 Ford F-250 Super Cab from Huron Township for the use as an animal control vehicle in the amount of $5,000.
I
Any
could
discussion?
Just make a couple comments. Back in 2011, when the Friends of the Romulus Animal Shelter had raised $160,000, that money was turned over to the Tifa board, which then built the shelter. Since then, the Friends of the Romulus Animal Shelter has raised $52,650, and it's really to their all the folks that get involved in these causes, just not me with the bowling and the bingo. We've got school kids, we got credit unions, we got people that constantly are giving to this shelter, and this really is a win-win. It's the first time that this fund has been used since we started reinvesting in it, and it's not costing the taxpayers 10 cents. I'm just wondering if we could put some type of marking on the vehicle. By Friends of the
Yeah,
Romulus
absolutely.
Animal
We thought that'd be
Shelter.
important, because a lot of times they hear the fundraising, they're not quite sure how that works, so we thought we'd put some special decals to let them know funds from that particular account. Just, that might also promote people to want to give more. So, we applaud everybody's efforts that have helped in this area, and it's nice to be able to give our employees equipment that they need without any additional taxes to the public. So,
And while we're talking about the shelter, I just want to thank the people at the shelter. Back in the fall, we had one of our residents that live on Castle Drive, and she had put her dog down that was 15 or 16 years old. And it was a very sad thing. Well, the shelter folks and I went out, and they found her dog, and they took her to her house, and she was quite pleased, and she doesn't want her name used, but she wants to thank them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm getting off track here, but,
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Council. 5C, what you have is a request to award the ITB bid 14/15-22. That's to the lowest responsive bidder through the Michigan Recreation Construction, Inc. For the assembly and foundation work and slab for a CDBG federally owned steel pavilion that'll be located at the Coleman Center Park. The amount is $28,824.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Kraut, to award ITB 14/15-22 to the lowest responsible bidder, Michigan Recreational Construction, Inc., for the assembly and foundation work and slab for the CDBG federally owned steel pavilion to be located in the Coleman Center Park in an amount of $28,824. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote. Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next up is a request under 5D to award bid 14/15-24. That's for the purchase of video workstation with Idios Hardware Software from TEL Systems. The amount is $6,994.50, and the funds are out of cable fund capital outlay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Abdo.
I'll make that motion to award bid 14/15-24 for the purchase of a video workstation with Idios Hardware and Software from TEL Systems in the amount of $6,994.50.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, to award bid 14/15-24 for the purchase of a video workstation with Idios Hardware and Software from TEL Systems in the amount of $6,994.50. In discussion. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next up under 5E, this is just a request to extend bid ITB 13/14-8, and that would be to Matt Lee Lawn Service for mowing and weed control at the cemetery and some city-owned portions of the alley located in the downtown area on Goddard Road. And that would be on a as-need basis for the 2015-16 mowing season.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms. Choate.
I'd like to, excuse me. I'd like to make the motion that we extend the bid ITB 1314-18 to Matt Lee Lawn Service for mowing and weed control of the City of Romulus Cemetery and the city-owned portion of the alley located behind downtown area of Goddard Road on an as-needed basis in the 2015-2016 mowing season.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to extend bid award ITB 13/14-18 to Matt Lee Lawn Service for the mowing and weed control of the City of Romulus Cemetery and the city-owned portion of the alley located behind the downtown area of Goddard Road on as needed basis for 2015 and 2016 mowing season. In discussion.
Yes.
Yes, Ms.
I just want to say I'm glad to see that we are awarding this bid to a local business.
Thank you. Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next up is 5F, and that's just a simple motion to reflect the additional Community Service Department program revenues and offsetting costs. There's no impact to fund balance.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Makowski.
I'll move that we make the budget amendment 14/15-16 to reflect the additional Community Services Department program revenues and offsetting costs.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to reflect additional Community Service Department program revenues and offsetting costs. In discussion. Hearing none, Ms. Makowski.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth. Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Thank you, Council. Next up is the item that Pat McGow spoke on earlier, 5G, and that's regarding the TIFA bonds.
Move, Mr. Chairman, for the resolution. Development and Funding Bonds Series for 2015.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski, for the adopted attached resolution pledging the limited tax full faith credit. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item up is 5H, and that's just a request to also extend bid 04/05-26, and that's for the Merriman Road 2015 maintenance season for WH Cannon. The amount's $45,500. That's a special assessment is what's funding it.
Yes, Ms. Roscoe.
I'll make the motion to extend bid 04/05-26 for the Merriman Road 2015 maintenance season through WH Cannon in the amount of $45,500.
Just support that.
Been motion by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Ms. Choate, to extend bid 04/05-26 for the Merriman Road 2015 maintenance season through WH Cannon in an amount of $45,500. Any discussion? Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. And the last item for action I'm asking is to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into a professional services contract with New Moon Visions in the development of our brand identity and associated strategy for the city of Romulus, cost not to exceed $18,000. And as you can see, that came out of several different funds.
So move, Mr. Chairman, for the brand identity and strategy contract in a total of $18,000.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski, to authorize the mayor and clerk into the professional services contract with New Moon Vision to develop brand identity and associated strategies for the city of Romulus at a cost not to exceed $18,000. Any discussion? Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Abdo? Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. That concludes my report.
6A is the clerk's report under 6A1. I'm requesting approval for the clerk and the deputy clerk to attend the annual Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks Conference from June 23rd through June 26, 2015. And those funds have been budgeted for.
Support.
I'll support it, Mr. Kraus.
Okay, it's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for the request approval for clerk and deputy clerk to attend the annual MAMC conference from June the 23rd to the 26th, 2015.
Discussion,
Discussion.
if I may
Yes,
ask a
good.
question. So the funds have been budgeted. Can you advise what the budgeted amount is?
You know what, I have to look that up, I apologize, I don't have that. That was in the last 15 budget. It was $600 for the tuition, but we did, the deputy clerk actually received a scholarship, so it's half of that amount, so we're not spending the whole amount of the 600.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Before I close out my report, I just have a quick announcement, and this is regarding elections. May 5th is the special election, statewide election, and regarding Proposal 1. And just a couple of announcements. On Tuesday, May 5th, schools are in session. So for precincts 2 and 4 at Hill Creek, and also precinct 11 at Barth, you'll be entering through the back, the entrance through the gym. Like in the old days, we're going to enter through the back, so we're asking people not to wander in the building where students, are in, because they'll be in school. Also, for precincts 1, 7, and 10, where the polling location is located at the middle school, instead of entering through the front doors, the entrances will be in the back. And also there will be parking. DPW, they're currently working on the sign, so there will be plenty of signs directing voters to the entrances to the precincts as well as for parking. And I've already spoken with our public relations person, which will have that on our Facebook page and also on the city's website for those maps. And with that, that concludes the clerk's report. And 6B would be the treasurer's report.
Good evening, council, mayor, clerk, deputy clerk, and audience. I have 2 items under my agenda. And the first one, I just want to remind our residents that the deputy clerk and myself will be at a conference. We leave tomorrow. We will be back on Friday. However, we have 2 very good employees that will take care of you, and you're in good hands. Secondly, I had a study session today for a quarterly report, and in that quarterly report, I provided council with visual aids as well as Excel spreadsheets that listed the investments that we have with the totals, the interest, our credit rating, to make sure that it all complies with our investment policy, as well as the maturity distribution. So I just wanted to make sure that I shared that with the residents as well, and if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to call the treasurer's office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 7 is public comment, and this is the portion of our agenda where those in the audience have an opportunity for questions and comments. And if you would like to do so, please raise your hand, and after you've been acknowledged by our chairperson, approach the podium, and we ask that you state your name, your address, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We do not have any written requests.
Okay. I have one, Mr. Miller, in the audience.
Good evening. Charles Miller, 11439 St. Aloysius. As many of you know, I've been an activist within this community and with other communities for over 40 years. As I stand here before you tonight, the city of Baltimore is on fire. Riots are taking place right now. This particular riot was brought about by the death of a young African-American man whose lawyers said the only thing he did wrong was not to run fast enough. For when he was put in the van to be transported, he was fine. But when he was placed out of the van at the police station, he had a separated spine. Something happened to the young man. It's referred to sometimes by a rough ride, where they don't chain the young man to the truck, and so when they zoom around, slam on the brakes and take off, they bounce around within the back of the vehicle. And let me make it perfectly clear. No one's been charged yet. No one's been called to accountability yet. And so we don't know what happened. But I'll tell you this. The death of young black African American youngsters in this country has got to stop. And that goes right along with young white Caucasian youngsters at the hands of policemen who have no business being in the business of law enforcement. I want to thank the chief for having come forward to the community center Saturday, sometimes referred to as the Coleman Center, to bring attention along with, I don't know what his position is. Mayor, what's the position of Officer Motti right now?
He's a captain.
Okay, Captain Motti was there also. And this meeting was about body cams and the ability for the police department to protect itself and the individuals that are being dealt with to protect themselves also. I want to thank them personally for having the community spirit to show up, to bring an enlightenment to the body cams, the cost of the body cams, and what we can expect. And it was a good meeting, was many people attended. And I think what's going to happen in this country is that we're going to have to come to terms with how our police departments interact with the community. As long as one bad police officer, as long as one bad police officer is in the force, it doesn't matter what every good police officer does. Because you can't overcome the bad officers. And now that the chief of police, the former chief of police, has been indicted and now is in prison, and those other officers who will no longer be in law enforcement, I want to make it perfectly clear here again. I have been on the end of these police officers who no longer are in this department. I did nothing wrong, yet I was harassed, threatened. I did nothing wrong. And I'm a Caucasian guy. I'm a white guy. And they treated me that way. What about black young men, African American, black young men? What about them? And I sometimes think to myself, how do they live their lives always having to look over their shoulder just simply for being black? These cameras are going to cost this city some money. I don't know where you're going to get the money. The bill has just been introduced at the state level by Representative Robinson. I don't think I remember the number. It was 4224, I believe. Yeah, 4224. What this does is mandate to officers all to have cameras. Now, this city has been proactive, according to the chief, I appreciate it, has been proactive in having some cameras available on multiple shifts in order to try to get a heads up on how these cameras work, what we can expect, and see if these cameras will bring about a change that will once again install some, among the community, some integrity that we can believe in. Once again, as long as one bad cop is on the force, it doesn't matter what the good cops do, and there's plenty of them out there. That's like a councilman and a mayor. No matter how good you are, when you do something bad, they only remember that. And that's the case with police officers too. And it's not fair. It's disingenuous. But it's time we had some changes in this country. Like I said, I've been an activist for 40 years. You're going to see me a lot more. I believe in nonviolent protest. I do not agree with burning down anything, stealing anything, but I do believe in nonviolent protest, and I'm actively pursuing that avenue for the city of Romulus. Thank you kindly.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Any other comments? Yes, please.
Tom Haynes, Chamberlain Street, Romulus. I'm glad Mr. Miller come up. I'd like to start two different things through the academy, things that I learned. I mean, there's a lot of things that made me feel better about my son being a police officer, and a lot that made me feel worse. I'd like to have somebody help guide me through a process that I can raise money to see to it that our officers carry a tourniquet around their left ankle like the state police has issued. They also carry chest blowout patches in case they take a chest wound that they can carry with them, although it requires a BDU pant to do that because our officers don't have enough room to carry that. I also, because I think it would be something that would help Mr. Miller, like to start something to find out how we can, maybe during a pumpkin festival or sometime during this year, to make our simulator available to the public. One of the best things I think any of my classmates would say was experience unknown. I shot and killed both the people that were in front of me with the simulator, and I wouldn't bat an eye to do it again, simply because the police officer and the problem that's happening, I don't know what happened in the incident with Mr. Miller. I've been away from the TV for a while, haven't watched that, but simply what I learned is with dealing with the police department, if you would just comply to what they ask you, you won't die. And in most of the cases that you see on TV, that's what we're having. The police officers ask a simple question, ask you to comply, and everybody wants to give the police officer a hard time. And at some time, when his life becomes threatened, you push, they shove, you hit, they're gonna pull their gun and do whatever it has to do. Their whole idea is, my son needs to come home at the end of the day. That's the way that I think that it needs to be done, and I don't know if that's the way that they're taught. But I would like to start, whether my classmates will help or I get help anywhere else. I've been in touch with Gall. They provide the tourniquets for our police officers, for our state police officers. So I would like to find out how I raise that money. If it's put into a fund, I know the cemetery did it. You know, I just want to make sure the money goes for the cause that I want to do and find out how much it would cost to operate that simulator. I believe there's 2 police officers that are trained in doing that right now, so I would imagine that there's overtime involved, but I would like to raise the money if that's all it takes to pay the officers to do that, so we can do that. We can provide that service to them. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. And I wanted to thank you again for the opportunity, and you're all missing out something by not going.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Settles.
Just a quick follow-up to Councilwoman Mikowski's question regarding the costs associated with the Wayne PD range usage. There's no cost. We got an agreement where we are letting Wayne PD officers use our FAT simulator that the gentleman just spoke about. And also I want to thank Mr. Miller for his moving comments and support of body cameras.
Thank you, Mr. Settles. Any other comments from the audience? No comments? Okay, we'll close that part out, Madam Clerk.
8 is unfinished business.
Mr. Chairman, just under unfinished, couple comments I'll make on the body cameras are actually in the budget. We're trying to get some federal funds released to cover those. I think we have been proactive as a department because they protect the employees and the citizens. So we're trying to look at that. Hopefully we'll get some federal funds that are owed to cover that. I can tell you that they've looked at and tested some different types of body cameras, and let's hope some legislation does pass. I'm in favor of that as well too. And as far as the issue that came up with Mr. Haynes, I thank him again for his participation in the Citizens Academy. We'll try to work with you, try to find out what funding there is, but we always welcome help. I think there's a great example. We had a Citizens Academy. We raised the awareness and what happens, and now we get residents that want to step up and help. That's a win-win. So thanks for your participation. Again, I encourage council and residents to get involved in it. We're trying to stay ahead of the curve on communicating and letting people know, what we do on a daily basis. I think the more they know, the more they want to help, and that's how a community is built, and that's how we build trust. So thank you for that, council.
Thank you.
If there's no more unfinished business, number 9 is new business.
I have one thing.
Yes,
Mr.
Ms.
Chair.
Roscoe.
Romulus Historical Park has asked for a no fee permit for their flea market, which is Saturday, June 20th, and that's going to be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if I can get support for that.
Been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for a no fee permit for the Romulus Historical Park. Discussion? Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Okay, number 10 is communication.
Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Crowd.
I'd like to thank John Thede and the fire department for the donation they gave to Helping Hands. It came in very handy, and Helping Hands still can use canned goods and box goods if you can find any. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more
Ms. Makowski?
communication?
Yeah, if I may, sorry, excuse me for looking at my phone, but Patty Braden had sent me a list of things she wanted me to announce, some programs for this spring. In May, we've got use of Kindle for beginners, so it's an ebook. And then there's the Second Monday Book Club, and the book is Widow's War by Sally Gunning, and you can contact the library, they will get you a copy. And then in May 18th, the DIA is going to be there for a presentation, and it's called To Die Upon a Kiss. And then Saturday, the 23rd, another ebooks and Kindle computer class. So you can go online and look at that. A lot of kids programs too. Family movie night, May 6th, will be Paddington the Bear. So, thank you.
Okay, if no more communication, number 11 for approval is warrant 15-08.
Mr. Chairman,
It's Ms. Choke.
I would like to make a motion that we pay warrant number 15-08 in the following amounts. General operating fund is $74,357.56. Major street fund, $104,544.02. Local street fund, $75.54. Cable would be $13,490.56. And Merriman Road is $1,973.75. Oakwood is $279.59. Community employee activity is $346. Sanitation fund is $83,145.33. 9/11 is $3,383.16. Narcotics Enforcement Fund is $40,163. DDA is $166.12. Water Debt Services, $700. DDA Goddard Road Construction is $28,278. Water and Sewer Department is $457.66. Motor Vehicle Fund, $20,064.73. Technology Services, $24,767.76. Retirees Insurance Benefits, $196,519.23. Revolving Fund, $12,961.27. And the Payroll Fund is $91,911.11, for a grand total of $1,173,884.39.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choke, supported by Ms. Makowski, to pay warrant number 15-08 for $1,173,884.39. Ms. Choke,
Yes.
Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Award number 15-08 will be paid.
And number 12 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski, for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Mr. Makowski.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.